All right, welcome back to another weekly Forexcast. We're going to be covering some potential setups that we have for this week. This is actually a critical week, all right, with it being NFP, with us coming into a new month. So we're going to have new monthly candle closes. Uh, so it's really important to dissect where we can potentially head based off what price is currently showing us. All right. Last week we had a great week. For those of you that don't know, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to like and subscribe. Last week in my private Discord, we were able to catch over 430 pips, as you see here on the Euro USD buy, GU buy, GA sell, GJ sell, and UCAD we just pulled out. So that was really our only loss. Just closed up before the week ended. All right. But for the most part, we had some solid wins, and I'm going to be covering those same potential pairs as well as others, so we can see where we could potentially head this week. So this, like I said, this is NFP week. It's a fundamental week. We look here on investing.com. Wednesday, we have GDP, all right, for the pound. We also have non-foreign employment change for the USD. I like to call that pre-NFP. All right, so seeing how things are going to set up midweek, you know, with the dollar, that's going to be a telltale sign really for how we can possibly head into NFP. Then Thursday, we have unemployment claims, manufacturing PMI for GBP, governor speaking as well. We also have unemployment. Did I miss your unemployment for the euro on Wednesday? And Friday, we got that NFP. All right. So this is definitely a crucial week. All right. So let's go to the charts and let's see what we can get. All right. Looking at the dollar index. All right. So the US dollar, we're at an interesting level. All right. Last couple of weeks we had NFP, we see price kept driving with this bullish pressure to the upside. So if we go down to again, in 3 days, we will see this monthly candle close. All right. So the way this monthly candle close is going to be key. It's going to be really key of where we could possibly head. Looking at it currently, it could possibly close bullish engulfing, here on this monthly. If this dollar index closed bullish engulfing, then that's a good sign, all right, that the buyers are still in control. So most likely we will see this continue to head up even higher. All right. So be on the lookout for that. So that's what we're going to see, these monthly candles close before NFP, which is important. All right. So now if we look at this on the daily, okay, price continued to break above structure. All right. Now price is pulling back. So we're at an interesting level. I'm still bullish on this, but after price broke here, created a higher high, I was now expecting some type of retest of structure. So we're at a level now. I'm at the 4-hour chart. We at a level where price could potentially hold and just continue to go up from there. All right, because if we look, price actually came down, formed this like pin bar rejection, held support, came back again, formed it again, and held support. So I'm going to be watching to see how price develops early on in the week for any potential setups on the dollar. Because if we look at this, price could very well hold support here and just continue to the upside. All right, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had one more move down, having a deeper retest of structure here before then we possibly hold support to go higher. So I'm going to be on the lookout for what the dollar is going to, if it's either is going to continue its move early, or we could possibly see a bigger correction probably before NFP and then continuation. So those are two scenarios that I'm looking for. Um, Now looking at GBP USD. All right, GU. If you follow my last weekly forecast, and also those of you that are in a paid Discord, private Discord, you will see that this is what I was anticipating. I was anticipating price to pull back right into the buy and continue down. All right. This buy, I knew was just a corrective buy. So that's how I was able to call this buy at this level of support, right, which is around this psychological level of 1.38. All right. So we had a nice bounce from this level. But seeing that bounce, I was expecting a retest. But first, let's do a top-down approach. We can see, like I said, on a monthly, these monthly candles is going to close in 3 days. All right. So seeing a nice bearish rejection from that monthly high, also from this major supply level that we see here. This is a major supply level. So we're seeing that same rejection from that same high. All right. Breaking down to the weekly. All right. I had this trend line, upward trend line going up. So this also shows that we had this strong impulsive break of that structure, rejection from supply. And now this was a correction last week. All right. The correction that I believe is setting up for correction for continuation. Because we look at this on the daily, price had a break of structure. This was our retest of structure and a retest of that trend line. Price gave us a nice rejection, formed that bearish engulfing, and we see price continued from there. All right. So this week, I'm still anticipating continued sales here. All right. So it's either price is gonna, I would say look for sales on potential sell opportunities on any pullbacks. All right. So you see right here, we're forming a bearish flag. Looking at this on a 4-hour chart, it came up perfectly, basically retested around this same order structure for continuation of resistance of that retest of structure. This was a retest, continuation. So now we get in the breakdown of this bearish flag. So I would say, if you get some type of maybe correction early in the week, I would say with that correction, look for potential continuations down. All right. Either that or price is just going to continue down from here. And any little pullback opportunities, look for your continued wave down, because looking at this from a daily perspective, we can see this come back down, into anywhere from 1.375, to 1.37 support at least. All right, back down towards these levels. All right, so that's GU. GJ, similar. Excuse me. So looking at this, GJ is just a bit interesting because, this is a major supply zone. All right. But we do see the previous monthly candle did close bullish. All right. So you would have to be careful here, but um, it closed bullish, but that doesn't mean that we can't reject from here. All right, because we already started. So looking at it on a weekly perspective, all right, nice rejection from this supply zone. All right, had the same type of rejection, strong breakaway. And last week we got that correction up. So I'm looking for that correction to give us a continuation move. All right. So if we break this down top down, you see price did that perfectly. We had a breakdown here, breaking structure. When I say breaking structure, we broke higher low structure. All right. We broke that higher low structure, um, breaking back below this structure of supply or resistance. But this was just a deeper correction back, I believe, for that continuation. All right. So I call some of these sales to end the week. Um, with this, I'm still anticipating more sales. All right. On this, more sales back down towards this low. All right. So this is something I would look for in GJ. I would say either we can see price continue, because you see this was basically forming a lower high. We had the peak up here, lower high structure here, where it basically gave this corrective pennant move, and then it continued down. All right. And I believe this is the top of our lower high there. All right. So we see downward structure. So now it's just a matter of its GJ's either possibly, if it, corrects, is one or two scenarios. Either we get a deeper correction pullback for potential continuation down from there. All right. Or we can see price continue to break down from here. And then, on those minor pullbacks, you could just continue to ride that wave back down towards these support levels. All right. Because we look at this on a 1 hour time frame. You could clearly see, structure even more clearly. Breakdown, pullback, right? Lower high, continuation, lower low, pullback, and now it's showing signs of continuation. All right, so price could just continue from here, right? And then, on those pullbacks, you still continue to ride the wave. Either that, or we'll probably get one more pullback before price continue. But all in all, I'm looking for sales on GBP JPY. All right, Euro USD. Euro USD is actually similar to GU. All right. We had major sales from this top. If we look at this major supply level, when price had a big sell-off. Now from here, we formed uptrend structure from this low of demand. We had a move up, higher low. We had a continuation, higher low, continuation. All right. But now looking at that continuation, price is now giving us a strong rejection from this same high of supply. So this could be a potential double top. Again, this monthly candle is going to close in 3 days. So if this closes like this, bearish engulfing, then I believe it's a high chance that we at least come back down to this low of this higher low structure around 1.7. All right. 1.17 structure around there. All right. But let's look how we can take this. Weekly, boom, we had a nice rejection from this top, strong breakaway. All right, last few weeks, me and our private channel, we have been catching these sells. We caught a sell really from up at this top. All right, so now, boom, you had another impulsive breakdown. So really similar to GU, I was looking for price to come back and retest structure around here. All right, previous support structure was resistance here, was support here. All right, so I was looking for it to come really also around this psychological level around 1.20. All right, so you see now we are getting some rejections from that retest structure level. Right now, price is ranging a bit. It does look like we're potentially forming the bearish flag to give us a continuation down. All right, so I will be on the lookout for this. But right now, right here, you see we are ranging a bit right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if price did give us one more move up, all right, before rolling over. All right. But all in all, I would like price to stay below this structure. All right, so even a deeper pull into that level could potentially happen, roughly anywhere between 1.198 or 1.198 to 1.20. All right. Those levels could potentially happen. So if that happens, is either price going to do that and go. That's something I would look for. Or price could just continue. Price could just continue its breakdown. Let me see this. We could see price just continue. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. We could see price just continue down from here. If that happens, then just catch the pullbacks and just ride this wave down, at least back to that low. But, with this holding, if this is the top of the retest for continuation, I'm definitely expecting price to come down even lower. So once this finds the top of this hold, I will expect price to really continue back down to this low down here. All right. Trill USD, look for potential sales. Now, but if price does, break above there and continue up, let's say the dollar just has a bigger sell-off before it makes this continue move up, then, the next point of structure that I would look for, is, of course, around here, previous structure low. So all we can do is just trade in line with what structure is showing us, what price is showing us. Euro JPY. This is another pair. Last few weeks, we were able to catch these sales. Now price is giving a deeper. See, I had the arrow set because after this, I was expecting price to give it after that pullback. Let's look at this on a monthly. So same thing. We are at the top of supply. Price had a nice close back below supply, right here. We had big sell-offs from this level. All right. So now I believe this is a correction for potential continuation. If we look at this on the daily, the structure is clear. We had a breakdown, pullback, lower high, breakdown, pullback, lower high, and up towards here is where we caught the sales the last week. All right, last 2 weeks. And then boom, this was a big continuation down, breaking structure. All right. So now we had a deeper pullback for a retest of structure. So I believe we're at a potential level where price could give us a continuation. All right, we're retesting previous structure here. All right, also previous structure here. Okay, so this is the level that I would look for price to continue to hold. So let's say, maybe the daily candle closing on Monday, we have a nice bearish close there. For me, that would give me even stronger confirmation of price continuing back down, because we already started to get indecision. We had a nice rejection there, somewhat like a shooting star rejection there on the daily. Then we got 2 dojis. All right. So once we get a nice impulsive break back down, then I would say just continue to ride that wave. Right now it's ranging a bit, setting up for that next move. All right. So I would look for something like this. Let's say once price actually breaks this range. All right. Or you could look at it like this. Once we actually get a break, this range, we change the color. All right, so once price actually is ranging right here, once it breaks this range, right, giving us an impulsive close back below, then I would look to continue to catch those sales, you know, and on pullback opportunities, you just can continue to write this down. All right, because a break below that will definitely give you, we'll definitely see a nice daily candle close rejecting from this level, which for me would anticipate continued sales to the downside. All right, so be on the lookout for that. USD CAD. All right, USD CAD is also interesting right now. All right. For the most part, on UCAD, we're rejecting from a major level of demand. All right. Major level of buyers to the left. All right. From here, rejecting this same level, same monthly level. Okay. So if we look at this on a daily, has strong rejection up. So UCAD is at a level where it could potentially hold. All right. We had this big move up and now it's pulling back, I believe, before we get that continued wave up. Now, right here, this is an interesting level. This is a level where price could very much hold. It can very well hold right here. All right, because we had a pullback down. If you look to the left, is also around this structure support. But we had a minor pullback, a minor retest of this, holding support, bouncing up, came back down and still held support. All right, so this is something I will look for. Take a counter trend line. All right. So if price continues to hold this support, if we continue to hold above this previous low and find firm bullish support going into this week, you know, we can expect bulls to continue to drive price up. All right. It's either price will continue from here or we can have, you know, one more potential drop before we get that continuation up. All right. One more potential drop. My next level will be around here. All right. So just change that back. So if we get price to get one more potential drop from there, if it don't hold, then I can see it coming back down here first before we get that continuation up. But for the most part, I'm favoring buys to the upside on UCAD. All right. GBP AUD. So GBP AUD actually was a sell that we caught. I caught this sell last week. You know, after seeing this nice rejection from here, fell in the hole right here. This psychological level of supply, 1.85. You look at the daily, you know, you can see this is a, you know, major level of supply right here. All right, a respected level. So once price failed to break up there multiple times, I saw here on the 4-hour, right? We bunch of wicks through this level, and then price had a nice close back below. So really after seeing this rejection, I was looking for sales. Price gave us, you know, one more little spike, but then stayed below that high still and continued down. So we were able to catch that sell. I'm in a private Discord. It was also some bearish divergence right here. All right. Caught some nice bearish divergence, was able to ride that down. So looking at G8, I'm still bearish on this because if we look at this weekly candle is looking like it's about to close with this. It's about to close with this nice bearish rejection, looking like a bearish shooting star type candle. All right. So with that type of rejection, we could potentially see price continue to the downside. So if you're not in this trade now, I mean, if you caught it at the top, I would say put your stops at break even because this could pull back some first if it want to continue to go. Or, you know, if this is still bearish and wants to break this level, it would need to break through this structure for me. It would need to break structure. If we break structure, I would say look for a pullback or a retest and look for price to continue down. All right. That's what you would need to see, or I would need to see, because price could very well, you know, looking at this on a 4-hour perspective or even a daily perspective, I mean, we still been in the uptrend. All right. So to catch more sales from this, I would need to see a structure break, because if price comes, let's say, find some bullish support, price action, you could potentially, you know, catch those buys back up. Even if that is short term, you could catch some buys back up. But for the sale, yeah, I would need to see structure break and then catch that pullback for continuation down. That's GA. All JPY. So looking at all JPY, real quick, you can see that price is in this major level of supply. All right, you can even take this further over the structure. Major level of supply structure, just a structure level, major level of structure in general. All right, because if we look at this, let me see. All right, you look at this in the past, this was support right here. This was a neckline of this double top type structure. Before it broke down, it became resistance right there, and then it continued. All right, so now we're back at this same level. We came to the same level of structure and had a nice rejection away. All right, so that's price action, market structure. So now we had that nice rejection from that level, and now price is actually pulling back to that level. Okay, so I'm favoring continued sales. All right, we had a nice boom. This was a nice sell-off, breaking all those structures. Found support at the same level of support though, and then bounced back up. All right, so looking at this from a daily and 4-hour perspective, a lot of these JPYs, if you notice, are looking similar, setting up for potential continuation moves. So I would look at this like this. This was our peak high. All right, this is like lower high structure here. All right, price broke down here, slight pullback, retest, and continuation. All right, so around here, I will look for price to stay below this level of structure, and price is now at a level where it could potentially set up for that continuation move. All right. So it's just tricky. Depends on what all want to do as well in JPY. But looking at this, if price, gives a nice bearish rejection from this level, I will expect price to continue to the downside. We can also look at it like this: price is retesting. If you look at this level, this is a level of the little minor support level right here. All right, something like this. Something like this right here. Price is also retesting that previous level of support, that level there. All right, it's retesting that structure. So with a nice rejection from here, I would say look for continued sales to the downside. CAD JPY is still ranging a bit up here. I believe this is the week that we're really going to see if we want to continue or not, because same thing, we got a nice rejection from the supply level. All right, always look left to go right. Price gave us that nice rejection. So now price is pulling back. All of the JPYs did the same thing last week. We had corrections of those big moves that had happened the week of the week of FOMC. So now after these breakdowns, we're getting a pullback. So we're now at this breaker bounce level. All right. Looking at structure though, we clearly got a higher low structure, and this could potentially be another higher low for continuation down. All right. So with this, I would really need to see price give us a continued breakdown, closing really back below this structure here. If we get a nice rejection closing back down, then I will expect price to just continue, back down towards these lows. And a lot of that that's going to determine that is what oil and CAD is going to do when we're looking at this pair too. I'm going to cover oil as well so we can see. All USD. So similar to a lot of the majors, all USD, NZD USD, Euro USD, GBP USD, they're all setting up similar. Same thing, AU had nice rejections, but we finally broke out of this range. Look at this on a daily. Price been in this pretty much in this big range for a minute. All right, so we broke this structure. So now price is pulling back, what I believe for a potential continuation move down. All right, so this is how we will know we're at a level now where it could potentially start to reject from. All right, this is possibly a bearish flag setting up. All right, this level right here, this is a level that I will expect price to reject from. It's order block type level where you had the continuation move down from that. So this is now the level where price can start correcting down. If it continues down, then I would say look for those sell continuations to the downside. All right, or we can have maybe possibly one more move up, before continuing down. But all in all, around this level, I will start to look for my potential continuation move down. And if that's the hold on this retest, this could be a nice continuation down. I would just look at about my next major structure levels, which I think, roughly around 0.74 psychological level. All right, somewhere around 0.74 will be probably my next target on all USD with the hold of this level on this retest. You can see price come back down here. All right, now gold, going to be wrapping it up. So looking at gold, gold is still around this level. It's been ranging all last week after those big sell-offs with NFP. Price is now finding support at this level, the same level of support. It's finding support. I mean, overall, a lot of this is going to depend on what the dollar is going to do. And now that the dollar is looking like it's setting up for continued bullish moves, gold could possibly give us bigger moves to the downside. But first, it's just a matter of, where it wants to correct to. Does it want to correct more? Because we are finding support right here. All right. But it's just been ranging last week. You see, just ranging sideways. So I still look for this to possibly give us, maybe another move up for continuing, maybe a move up. And then if that dollar continues to go bullish, then we probably could see a continuation sell off from there. All right. And whenever price does continuation, give us that continuation move down, you can expect this to really come back down towards these lows, 1700 or lower. But first, we can see price correct. You're just watching these potential structure levels for corrections before it wants to continue. And once the dollar decides to continue its move up, it's likely we'll see the gold continue to the downside. All right. Looking at US oil. So US oil, we're in a major level of supply. All right, we're in a major level of supply where this is at a major break and bounce level. We're pushing in this level. This is the lowest. This is the lowest that price has actually been. I mean, the highest this price has been since 2018. All right. So looking at this, I would say we need to wait for a price to actually show a nice sign of reversal. Once we see a nice bearish price action indication, something like maybe a bearish engulfing, pin bar rejection or something, for us to see, okay, the top could possibly be in. And I believe this is the week that we're likely going to see that. We're going to be able to see if price want to make that move or not. All right. So if price starts to sell off from here, hold this top and give us rejection, breaker structure, this could be a continuation move to the downside. So just looking at this on a weekly and daily, I believe it is going to hold. I don't think it's going to, even if it slightly breaks past this level, I believe overall we're going to see that rejection down. And with that, that's going to help USD CAD give us volume to the upside, and CAD weakness will come in with that because CAD and oil do typically correlate. So be on the lookout for that. All right, and end it with GBP NZD and actually NZD USD as well. So looking at GN, all right, with GN, we're at a major level of supply. Price slightly broke above it. But now looking at this weekly candle, we got a bearish engulfing here on this weekly candle. All right. So I'm recording this before market is open. So when market open, you're going to see that bearish engulfing. And that's a sign that most likely we're going to continue seeing sells overall to the downside. All right. So now if we look at this at the daily, boom, price is still selling off. So how can you potentially catch this if it wants to set up for those continued moves? So I would look at this. I would say either wait for a correction or pullback, before you catch those continued moves down. Either that or let price continue to break down and then, catch those pullbacks, maybe like a bearish flag or something, and to continue to take this down. Because I definitely believe we're going to see that continuation move. So let me see here. So we can see what we could potentially come to. Need to clone this real quick. So this right here, we could see price really continue back down towards these levels. All right. With that bearish engulfing on the weekly, that could be a nice move. And that's from where price is currently at. GN moves a lot of pips. So that's over for about 430 pips from where price is currently at. All right. So I would say at least let price correct because, the last 3-4 days has been just pretty much straight drop. So I would say look for some pullback and then look for the break, or just, on this break of structures, just wait for those nice pullback opportunities for the continuation down. All right. And lastly, NZD USD. So NZD USD, similar to all the other pairs or majors like all USD, GU, EU, we're trading in line with the dollar right now. So with this being NFP week, it's going to be important to see how the dollar react, but the technicals tend to line up before any fundamental event. So we just got to trade what price is showing us. Looking at this on a monthly, we had a major rejection from the supply level over here. All right, the same rejection here, pullback, pretty much double top, and now we're rejecting. We see here on a monthly, it's looking like this monthly is going to close nice bearish engulfing, which is a sign of more sales. All right, looking on a weekly, we had a nice rejection from this level. Boom. All right, over here, we got a shooting star on a weekly, and then it kept dropping. And this was the correction of that. And this was the continuation of that. So now looking at this, like, let's say on a daily, let's see this real quick, get rid of this. Looking at this on a daily, we had a break of this structure here, breakdown. Now price is pulling back. Price basically found support around the same level of support structure. But now price is retesting for the pullback. So if we look at this on like the 4-hour, to me, it looked like we're setting up for a bearish flag for a potential continuation move down. All right. I believe this is moving corrective for most likely continuation if the dollar wants to set up to continue to go bullish. So this, like with this, I would say price can either continue from here. All right. It's at a level now, a lower high structure level now, where this is a level where price could just continue from here. With that breakdown, we could look for those continuation moves down on NU. Either that, or, if the dollar wants to go bearish early in the week, we could possibly see one more move up, towards the next lower high structure, which is basically more lined up with previous structure, and then probably get that continuation move down. All right, so those are one or two scenarios I would see. It's either we could continue to move from here back down, or another move up to structure, retest, and then continue down. All right, so I would say be on the lookout for that. All right, so those are the potential setups we got for the week. We have a lot of nice looking setups. I believe a lot of these pairs are just setting up for those continuation moves now. So be on the lookout for that. And also, if you're a newer trader, if you're somebody that need additional help, don't hesitate to go to the fxwave.com. You can check out the free Telegram as well, FXWave. And, we'll help you out. Not only do I give trade ideas and you get to take the trades that we're looking to take together, and I'll give out the exact targets, all right, and everything, take profit, stop losses, but I also do live educational sessions, live trading sessions with you. You can ask me questions, you can get help, you can get training, and you can just understand the simple approach to why we're looking to enter trades. I don't just give out trades, I give the breakdown and weekly updates and or like daily analysis updates on what I'm looking for and why I'm looking for it. All right. So I hope that helps, and I'll see you all in the next weekly Forexcast.